And just like that, Season 1 of Demon Slayer officially wraps up. Now, let's dive straight into Season 2. Flame Hashira may be gone, but his spirit is gonna inspire the entire Demon Slayer Corps. Meanwhile, Demon King Muzan is chilling in the body of a noble family's young boy. The family says the kid's crazy smart, but has some rare skin condition that keeps him from going out in daylight. Right then, Akaza shows up to report to Muzan after taking down the Flame Hashira. Ages ago, Muzan told Akaza to find the Blue Spider Lily, but Upper Moon 3 still hasn't delivered. But he brags instead that he's just wiped out the Flame Hashira from the cores. Akaza thinks he's about to get a gold star, but Muzan flips into rage mode. He's like, bro, you're proud of killing just one Hashira. Not only did he let Tanjiro's crew escape, but he even got a sword yeeted at him. So, Muzan straight up calls him a pathetic weakling. Akaza so terrified, he just stands there, silent, not daring to talk back. After the roast session, Muzan sends him off on another mission, leaving Akaza seething. He swears, next time he sees Tanjiro, he's gonna suck his brains out just to cool off. Meanwhile, Zenitsu and the boys are recovering at Shinobu's Butterfly Mansion. Zenitsu notices Tanjiro's been super down after seeing Rengoku fall in battle. But he tells himself they gotta carry Flame Hashira's will and keep fighting. Zenitsu brings buns for Tanjiro, but the dude's nowhere to be seen. A girl tells him Tanjiro just dipped from the mansion, even though he's still badly injured. Turns out, Tanjiro's sprinting to Rengoku's home to pass along his final words to the family. When he arrives, he meets Senjuro, Rengoku's younger brother. Senjuro's worried sick, seeing Tanjiro pale and staggering. Then their dad shows up, spewing nothing but venom. He calls Rengoku a useless, brainless son who deserved to die. Tanjiro's furious hearing a father talk like that about his own kid. Then Dad notices Tanjiro's earrings and realizes he's a descendant of the sun-breathing user. He suddenly tackles Tanjiro, forcing Senjuro to jump in. But even Senjuro gets smacked, making Tanjiro see red. He can't figure out why this guy hates his own sons so much. Turns out, Dad thinks sun-breathing users like Tanjiro came here just to mock him. 'Cause sun-breathing is the original style that birthed all the others. And those who wield it have insane power. Tanjiro's shocked, his family's just been coal burners, and the fire god dance was simply passed down from his dad. This is his first time hearing about sun-breathing. So he regrets not knowing it earlier to save Rengoku. But now, he's facing a dad angrier than Inosuke, so he just straight up headbutts him to the ground. Right after, Tanjiro apologizes to Senjuro for the headbutt scene. But Senjuro thanks him, he's never dared talk back to their dad, who always trashed Rengoku. Then he thanks Tanjiro again for being there with his brother in his final moments. When Tanjiro says he's looking for info on the fire god dance, Senjuro gives him a book from a former Flame Hashira, one their dad used to read, but when they open it, half the pages are torn out. Still, Tanjiro's cool with it. He knows even with the technique in hand, he'll need insane training to master it and become a Hashira as strong as Rengoku. Seeing Tanjiro's determination moves Senjuro deeply. At first, Senjuro wanted to succeed Rengoku as the next Flame Hashira, but no matter how hard he trained, his Nichiren sword never changed color, proof his efforts were in vain, so he asks his brother to forgive his weakness. But Tanjiro passes on Rengoku's words, keep walking the path you believe in, and if anyone dares clown you, I'll headbutt M myself. Before Tanjiro leaves, Senjuro promises to restore the torn book and gives him Rengoku's sword guard as a lucky charm. He also tells their dad Rengoku's final wish for him to stay healthy. Hearing that, the old man finally feels remorse. Tanjiro heads back to the mansion at sunset, only to be greeted by the blacksmith armed to the teeth and gets chased like a headless chicken. All because he lost the sword the guy worked so hard to make. Tanjiro's hunted till morning, but thankfully, Aoi steps in, and the girls bribe him with his fave dango to cool him off. Even dead tired, Tanjiro and the boys keep grinding. After 4 months of training, they're now shredded six-pack kings, bursting with energy. And to Tanjiro, these brothers are truly his family. Missions are always handed out by the Demon Slayer Corps, but each of them also has their own personal quest. This time, Tanjiro's job is to take out a demon hiding in a temple up in the mountains. Nezuko, as always, tags along to fight by his side. The demon tries a sneaky backstab, but Nezuko rushes in, smashes its claws to bits, and then the two chase it all over the forest. Eventually, the demon hides in a storage shed to heal up, but Tanjiro catches up and sends it to the afterlife. Using water breathing, fourth form, he slices off its claws and cleanly takes its head. The homeowner hears the noise, but by the time they come out, Tanjiro's already ghost. Next morning, Tanjiro gets back to the butterfly mansion and hears someone screaming. Inside, Sound Hashira Uzui is dragging Aoi and a little girl off somewhere, with no one knowing why. Kanao freezes, not sure what to do. Remembering Tanjiro's advice to follow her heart, she runs up to block Uzui, annoying him. The other girls pile in to Fulan, ganging up on him. Tanjiro arrives and thinks this giant dude is bullying them. Seeing a little girl crying for help, he immediately goes for his signature headbutt, but Uzui dodges easily. Turns out, he used to be a top-tier ninja, famous everywhere for his flashy style. Still, everyone gangs up to call him a creepy weirdo who bullies kids. Tanjiro says, people like that don't deserve to be Hashira. Salty, Uzui lets the little girl go. As for Aoi, he says he's taking her on a mission in the entertainment district even though she's part of the Corps. But she's a medic, never fought demons before, so Tanjiro says he and his two brothers will go instead. They'll join Uzui's mission, and as soon as Tanjiro calls, the boys show up instantly. After all that training, they're feeling pretty opus now. They even plan to throw hands with Uzui if he doesn't let Aoi go. In the end, Uzui agrees, as long as they follow his lead. Their destination, the entertainment district's super flashy, packed with gorgeous women. Tanjiro and the boar boy have no clue what that is, but Zenitsu, being a simp, instantly gets it. Uzui, as always, wants to flex his flashiness, basically pure show-off mode. He says that once they're there, he's the god, and the three of them are just his trashy little underlings. So they gotta butter him up and treat him like their boss, 24/7. Zenitsu hears that and thinks this dude's totally unhinged, but actually, it's part of the plan. Uzui's investigating because a bunch of courtesans have gone missing, probably demon work. Right after that, Uzui and the gang zoom off to the entertainment district. One lap around, and the boys are in all beautiful streets, beautiful girls calling out from the balconies. They instantly forget the mission and just want a vibe, which ticks Uzui off. Boar boy is mind blown. Ever seen this many people in one place? He starts ramming into random folks out of excitement, until Uzui grabs him. Meanwhile, Zenitsu sees the pretty ladies and is ready to wife one up on the spot. The district sleeps by day, but at night, it's a full-on festival. Perfect demon hideout. Most women here are forced into work because of debt. But the smart and talented ones become top courtesans, making bank for their houses. After explaining all this, Uzui takes them to a lodge run by the Demon Slayer Corps. Then he orders the boys to find his wives around the district. Zenitsu's like, wait, this crazy dude's married. Uzui explains his 3 wives have been here for days on a recon mission. He shows Zenitsu the letters they sent him with updates. But as soon as Zenitsu hears 3 wives, he's green with envy, so Uzui knocks him out cold. Uzui says all 3 are elite kunoichi and found 3 suspicious houses in the district. So the team will split up, each infiltrating one house. Right then, the innkeeper brings the stuff Uzui ordered. And just like that, Uzui turns the boys into courtesans, looking like straight-up ghosts. He plays the role of a handsome brothel owner and sells each of them off to different houses to find his wives. Somehow, everyone actually thinks their girls wild. After selling Tanjiro, they run into a top courtesan named Koinatsu on parade. While Inosuke's busy staring, the madam of this house comes over wanting to buy him. Coincidentally, that's one of the houses Uzui needs to investigate, so he agrees. With that baby face, They're sure Inosuke will become the district's next top courtesan. Zenitsu, on the other hand, is too busted looking. No one wants him. Uzui ends up getting him a toilet cleaning gig. Salty about it, Zenitsu decides to show off his shamisen skills. With his crazy good hearing, he can play perfectly just by listening once. Who knows, he might even become the #1 courtesan here, just to spite Uzui. So these three brothers got straight up sold by Uzui to work as cheap entertainers, basically free giveaways. Tanjiro got roasted hardcore by the boss lady cause of a scar on his forehead, but he's super reliable, so everyone here, low-key, loves him. While working, Tanjiro overheard two girls chatting about some stuff. Apparently, the boss lady at the place where Zenitsu works just died a few days ago, and at Tanjiro's place, a girl named Suma recently went missing. That's when Tanjiro remembered Suma is one of Uzui's wives. So he asked around for news about her, lying that Suma's his older sister, so no one gets suspicious. But since he's never lied before, his face totally betrayed him. He looked all awkward. The top girl told him Suma's super serious and wouldn't just run away from the place like that. Tanjiro figured something's seriously wrong with Suma and decided he's gotta save her ASAP. Meanwhile, Uzui's investigation, after a few days, found nothing sketchy at the entertainment house. He suspects the demon here must be a upper moon only. That level leaves 0 traces. On Inosuke's side, he heard a girl named Makio hasn't left her room in days, and she's also one of Uzui's wives. So Inosuke volunteered to bring her some food. Makio's actually been kidnapped by the upper moon demon, cause it found out she sent Uzui tons of letters. She's trying to escape but can't, and the demon senses someone approaching outside. It hung Makio up and warned, if she makes noise, she's done for. Inosuke left the food outside, but Makio didn't come out to grab it. The room stinks of demon funk, so bad, Inosuke's thinking about busting in to check it out, but when he opens the door, no one's inside and all windows are sealed tight. Suspicious of the ceiling, he throws a bowl of noodles straight up there. The demon freaks out, knowing it's been found, and starts running wild in the attic. Inosuke chases it around the building, determined not to let it escape. Once he locks onto it, he throws a punch. But oops, he hits a drunk customer instead, letting the demon slip away. No more sounds after that. Even with his beast-breathing senses, Inosuke can't find it. Zenitsu's on a mission to find Uzui's wife. Suddenly, he hears a girl crying and goes to check what's up. He finds a waitress sobbing alone in a room. Because he's a softie for girls, he comforts her right away. But then, the top girl shows up behind Zenitsu, giving him major creeps. He knows she's a demon, but can't do anything, cause other girls are around. The demon insults Zenitsu, calling him ugly as hell, which obviously ticks him off. Then it scolds the crying girl for leaving the room a total mess. Seeing how nasty the demon is, Zenitsu can't just stand there. He grabs the demon's hand to stop it from beating the girl, but when it breaks free, Zenitsu catches a solid punch. He flies out the door and immediately passes out. The demon quickly figures out Zenitsu's a demon slayer, since he's always on the defense. Turns out this Upper Moon 6 demon, Daki, has been here for days. She's been devouring tons of girls in the entertainment house, which explains the missing persons reports. The boss lady knew Daki was the culprit and tried to take her down, but she had no clue Daki's insanely OP demon level strong. In seconds, Daki used her silk belts to hang the boss lady up in midair. But since she didn't want to eat an old lady, Daki just let her go. Later, Daki went back to her room, and suddenly, Muzan showed up for a visit. Back in the day, Daki took out 7 Hashira, and as the only female Upper Moon, Muzan spoils her like crazy. Recently, she's been eating a ton of people to power up. So, Muzan warns her to watch out, the demon slayers are coming for the entertainment house soon. But Daki's mad confident she wrecked them all without breaking a sweat. Zenitsu's now getting cared for by the girls. After that punch, looks like Daki's hit hurt bad. They gave him a cold compress to chill the pain. And the waitress from before thanked Zenitsu for saving her, making him feel pretty proud. He promised that whenever anyone's crying, he'll always be there to help. The 3 girls then said goodbye to Zenitsu and headed back to their rooms, but right after they left, Daki snatched him. The boss of this place heard about Zenitsu going missing. He knows all the girls disappearing are Daki's doing. But he's way too scared of Daki's power to cross her. Meanwhile, Tanjiro's still grinding at his job and feels warm inside, seeing Koinatsu, the top girl, treat the waitresses like family. She even treats them like her own crew. Her angelic face and gentle vibes couldn't be more different from a savage demon like Dagi. Later, Tanjiro met up with Inosuke to report their findings to Uzui, who said, Zenitsu probably won't show up anymore. Chances are, Zenitsu's already become Demon Chow. Uzui apologized to the two guys, saying he put them in danger, trying to save his wives. Then he told low-rank demon slayers like them to bounce before it's too late, cause, in Uzui's eyes, surviving is already a win. He'd go solo to hunt down that demon himself. After he left, Tanjiro felt hella embarrassed, maybe cause their ranks are so low, Uzui doesn't trust them. When Inosuke showed off their ranks, turns out they still have ages to go before reaching Hashira level. Tanjiro was shook to discover the Wisteria rank tattoo on his arm that he didn't even know he had. All he has to do is flex and say the right words, and it shows up. Zenitsu's fate is still up in the air, but the two of them can't afford to break down. Tanjiro asked to tag along with Inosuke to check out the demon spotted at his entertainment house. Inosuke, being the lone wolf he is, just wants to kill that demon solo and says no to Tanjiro tagging along. But Tanjiro points out that since Uzui's already solo, if Inosuke goes alone too, the demon could pick them off one by one. He guesses there's a secret passage in Inosuke's entertainment house, and the demon might be disguising itself as a servant to snatch people on the low. His gut tells him Zenitsu and Uzui's wives are still alive. He warns Inosuke to be super careful if he goes solo, no dying aloud. Inosuke promises Tanjiro he'll stay safe for sure. That afternoon, Tanjiro returned to the house, said goodbye to Koinatsu, and confessed he was undercover as a servant to investigate the missing girls. But Koinatsu already knew he was a dude from day one. She said she'd be leaving the next day, too, getting hitched and all. Still, she's super worried about the missing girls, and now knowing Tanjiro's going to save them gives her some peace. Koinatsu's visibly sad to say goodbye to such a hard-working and kind kid like Tanjiro. Before he left, she wished him tons of luck. Right after Tanjiro left, Daki appeared in that room to snatch Koinatsu away. Tanjiro smelled demon energy all over the entertainment house. Meanwhile, Inosuke was chilling, waiting for someone to bring his weapons. Hearing noises above, he headbutted hard enough to smash the ceiling. Up there, Uzui's buff ninja rats delivered Inosuke's dual swords. True ninja rats, flashy and useful. Fully geared, Inosuke blasted out to go demon hunting. Uzui, meanwhile, went to Zenitsu's boss to interrogate him about Zenitsu and his wives. Under threat, the boss spilled everything. Uzui's wives are alive, and the one who took Zenitsu is the top girl, here aka Demon Daki. Once he got Daki's location, Uzui rushed out immediately, but when he reached her room, she was nowhere to be found. Knowing this is when Daki goes hunting, Uzui followed her trail. He prayed Zenitsu and his wives would be safe. With his crazy nose, Tanjiro found Daki's spot first. Opening the door, he was worried to see Daki holding Koinatsu with her silk belts. Daki said Tanjiro's just a weak swordsman, not even close to an upper moon like her. When Tanjiro tried to draw his sword, she attacked him with her belts. Knocked him flying outside. It was so fast, Tanjiro didn't even register what happened. No cap, the power of an upper moon is straight up next level. But after chilling for a sec, Tanjiro realized her belts aren't just weapons, they're straight up prison bars. That's how she's been snatching so many folks that Tanjiro couldn't track down. When Daki came out, she was shook that Tanjiro was still breathing after that hit. So she threatened she'd pop his eyeballs out and eat him one by one. Since Nezuko's box strap snapped, he had to ditch it somewhere safe. Then he told Nezuko, straight up, no coming out unless she's in deep trouble. Tanjiro then switched to water breathing and dove straight into the fight with Daki. Even though he was up against Upper Moon 6, Tanjiro wasn't fazed, and with the fourth form of water breathing, he kept slicing down those silk belts she used to attack him. Daki was legit shook by how strong Tanjiro was. His close combat skills and precise swordwork saved Koinatsu from those silk traps. That's when Daki started low-key crushing on Tanjiro, and wanted to feast on him ASAP. Meanwhile, Tanjiro was low-key doubting if he could solo an Upper Moon. but he was dead set on proving he could. Uzui was out searching the brothel, and luckily found his wife. He gave her an antidote pill, and she woke up, telling him. When she found out Daki was a demon, she tried to bail, but the silk belt Daki gave her was cursed with blood demon art, so she got trapped. After confirming his wife was safe, Uzui told her to bounce from the brothel first. He then went solo to find the other wives. Using his sharp hearing, he caught sounds of a big fight happening underground. So he busted through the ground with sound breathing to get down there. Uzui's noise tipped off Daki, and she figured a whole squad of demon slayers just rolled up. She planned to take Tanjiro out on her next move. Daki mocked Tanjiro's swordsmith, calling him trash cause his blade chipped so fast. But deep down, Tanjiro felt like he was the weak one here. He never really synced with water breathing like his master, or flame dance hits way harder. Problem is, he can't spam it non-stop. So, after training with the squad, just 2 moves of flame dance drained his body to the max. Even knowing that Tanjiro was hella determined to pull it off. He was burning with Rengoku's fire inside him. So he switched breathing styles and chopped through Daki's silk belts. Then he charged at Daki with the flame dance, forcing her to dodge. The flame dances to slashes done, Tanjiro jumped behind Daki to hit her weak spot next. But Daki was too quick. Tanjiro got smacked and thrown back hard. His body started crashing from overusing flame dance. Daki kept coming, so Tanjiro switched to recovery breathing to keep fighting. This time, blocking her razor-sharp belts was a serious struggle. So Tanjiro cranked his body temp to better sync with flame dance, training so hard he ran a fever over 38 degrees Celsius every day. But that grind made him way better at the flame dance. Now he's ready to go all out against Upper Moon 6 to protect the weak and spare them the pain. So Tanjiro powered up and dove headfirst into a no-holds-barred fight with Daki. Meanwhile, Inosuke was running wild, looking for the demon in the brothel. Everyone was shook, seeing him tear the place apart. Thanks to Tanjiro's tip, Inosuke found Daki's secret passage. But it was way too tight for his big boar head. Luckily, living in the mountains made Inosuke crazy flexible. He popped his joints out like nothing. So he slipped in and squirmed through real quick. Like a snake digging its den, Inosuke twisted and turned his way through. Finally, he reached the cave Daki called her food stash. That's where she locked up her victims in those silk belts and then feasted on them. Even Uzui's wives were trapped there, along with this clueless blonde dude, still knocked out cold. The silk belt that broke off from Daki noticed Inosuke's arrival, but, seeing his face, called him a filthy earthworm. Then Inosuke swung his twin swords, slicing every attacking belt to bits. With every cut, more victims trapped inside were revealed. The silk belt freaked out because its food supply was getting ripped away. Daki ordered it to chow down on a few people to power up and then trap Inosuke alive. But with his sword skills, Inosuke wasn't about to let this worm do whatever it wanted. Problem was, it's just a strip of cloth, so he couldn't chop off its head. Plus, he had to fight while protecting the victims from getting eaten. Just then, Uzui's wives, who'd been saved through shurikens to back Inosuke up. Being ninja pros, they moved like lightning. Even though they're all Uzui's wives, they were tight as hell, no jealousy drama. Meanwhile, Inosuke kept struggling to break those silk bands. Then Zenitsu showed up, and, with his thunder breathing, slashed those belts away. The demon was shook. How's this dude fighting while knocked out? Suddenly, it heard digging above. Someone was tunneling down. Uzui appeared, and the demon tried to make a run for it, but too late. Uzui rushed in, unleashing a flurry of slashes that shredded Daki's silk belts to bits. Then he apologized to his 2 wives for being late. Makio got all emotional. Back when she was a rookie ninja, she was taught to finish the mission no matter what, even if it meant dying. But Uzui told her to value life over mission, always. Usually, they fight to protect the weak, but if things get life-threatening, they dip immediately. 'Cause Uzui truly treasures all 3 of their lives. He praised his wives for their flashy fighting skills. No wonder they're married to such a handsome Hashira. Now, it's time for him to flex his own flashy combat moves. Meanwhile, Tanjiro's still holding his ground against Upper Moon 6, Daki, who's salty as hell. She's pissed Tanjiro's still alive and refusing to quit, so she lashes out with non-stop silk belts. She pulls all her belts back from around the brothel, absorbing them to regain full strength. Those belts slowly merge back into her, making her regain her true power. Daki dodged Tanjiro's sword like a ghost. He thought she'd vanished for good. Her hair and whole form changed. She looked absolutely OP now. Even Tanjiro could smell the pure power and got seriously shook. The fight was so loud it woke up the neighbors, and some loudmouth dude started nagging, which made Daki mad. Tanjiro told him to back off, but no, Luxo Daki slammed her sharp silk belts at Tanjiro, injuring him. Meanwhile, the nearby houses got wrecked beyond repair. Lots of innocent people died, but Daki was straight up loving it. She spat that humans are worthless and should just rot away. Those words made Tanjiro so mad, his blood boiled. In a flash, he remembered the letter from Rengoku's dad. Apologies from Rengoku after realizing his mistakes. The letter said both his sons were insanely talented, and Tanjiro had an even crazier power than them. Those chosen with the sun-breathing mark are born with a scar on their forehead. But Tanjiro's memory said that scar came from protecting his little bro from burns. So he's sure he's not the chosen one, like the letter claimed. Still, he'll never back down or run from Daki's power. 'Cause there's no way he'll forgive someone who takes lives like her. Tanjiro suddenly rushed in, grabbed Daki's leg, and straight up made her leave one behind while trying to bolt. He told her straight, once you take a human life, there's no reason. How could she just yoink lives and laugh at people's pain like it's nothing? Those words triggered a flashback. A swordsman once said that exact same thing. But it wasn't Daki's memory, it was Muzan's. Her shared blood with him let her see it. Meanwhile, Uzui and crew were busting out the victims Daki had locked up. But Inosuke's so damn stubborn, they started bickering again. After some banter, Uzui dragged them up to the surface, and they beelined to back up Tanjiro. Tanjiro knew Daki was once a kind human, probably went through hell like other demons he'd fought. But right now, no saving her, so he blitzed her like lightning. Daki popped her blood demon art, summoning her deadly 8-slash belts, whipping around Tanjiro. She thought it was GG for him, but with a cold death glare, he launched the dance of the fire god, slicing those belts like they were wet tissue paper. Daki froze, even injured. Tanjiro's speed was next level. She panicked and tried to dip. He chased her down, landing a clean slash at her neck, but her belts flexed to keep her head on, way too up. Tanjiro couldn't cut through, so Daki, pissed off, summoned even more belts. But to Tanjiro, they were moving in slow-mo, easy parry. With slick moves, he bunched them together and pinned her down with his sword. Then he unleashed a crazy combo of fire god strikes, burning her belts to nothing. Daki freaked, her HP bar was flashing red, but right before the final blow, Tanjiro's flames fizzled out. Somewhere, deep inside, his sister's voice told him to breathe or he'd be toast. He'd been overclocking himself, so his body finally gave out, coughing and gasping for air. Daki moved in for the kill, but Nezuko yeeted her head clean off with a kick. Nezuko's face screamed pure rage. Hurt her brother. Big mistake. Daki realized this was that demon Muzan warned her about, the one who slipped his control, alongside orders. Nezuko lunged, but Daki was still higher level, booting her far away. She mocked Nezuko as a weakling for not eating humans, planning to BBQ her under the sun. But Nezuko rose from the rubble, fully healed, shocking, Daki regen, speed like an upper moon. Nezuko bit off her bamboo muzzle, and went full demon mode, now looking grown and lethal. She instantly slammed Daki, face first, into the ground, with a brutal kick. Daki's smug grin was gone, she couldn't even get up. But Nezuko was losing her grip, and Tanjiro, still down, heard her cries, and tried to wake up. Nezuko was in trouble. Nezuko kept pummeling Daki with zero mercy. Daki got up and chopped off Nezuko's limbs with her belts. She thought she'd won, but Nezuko glued herself back together instantly. Meanwhile, Daki's body was on fire from Nezuko's blood demon art. As Daki screamed, Nezuko reattached her limbs like it was nothing. Then she rushed again, rapid-fire kicking Upper Moon 6. Daki went pale, then got launched into a nearby house. Nezuko followed in, to keep the beatdown going. But when she saw civilians nearby, bloodlust hit. She almost attacked, but Tanjiro rushed in and blocked her mouth with his sword. He held her down, begging her to fight it. Outside, the smell of her blood was strong, proof of her struggle. Meanwhile, Daki came back looking salty as hell after that beat. Her burnt face wasn't healing anytime soon. She was about to finish the siblings when Uzui popped in to block her. Seeing Nezuko like this, Uzui called Tanjiro a liar. Didn't you just brag to the boss, and now she's going feral? Meanwhile, Daki was big mad, no one was even looking at her. But Uzui said she was way too weak to be an upper-ranked Demonge, just one slash from him, and boom, Daki's head was already rolling. Meanwhile, Bourboy and Zenitsu were still trying to find their way there. Uzui dashed so fast that neither of them could keep up. Uzui left Nezuko for Tanjiro to handle, and even suggested he try singing her a lullaby first. So, Tanjiro wrestled with Nezuko, while softly singing the same lullaby their mom used to sing to put the little ones to sleep. Hearing her brother's voice, Nezuko subconsciously remembered their mom. She suddenly burst into tears, shrank back to her small form, and curled up at Tanjiro's feet, sleeping like a baby. Back to Uzui. Dude wasn't even interested in playing with Daki anymore. Like she's weak as a snail, yet keeps bragging about being upper rank. After getting toyed with for a while, Daki just straight up bawled like a kid. And, you know, kids who get bullied usually run to tell their big brother. So she yelled out his name, and boom, he popped out from inside her body. Uzui lunged in for the kill, but this dude's reflexes were cracked, dodging the slash. Then he reattached Daki's head and healed her up like it was nothing. Uzui went in again, but the guy countered with his sickles and actually injured him. That's when the demon introduced himself, Gutaro, and started throwing shade. He was jealous. Uzui had a model tier face and a buff gymrat body, while he himself was skinny, ugly, and straight up looked like a demon. Daki then snitched that there were still more people outside bullying her. Gutaro instantly said, anyone who bullies his little sis is not walking away alive. He attacked Uzui with his twin sickles, then boomeranged them right back into his hands. Seeing that, Tanjiro rushed in, wanting to help Uzui ASAP. Right then, Inosuke and Zenitsu, the Sleep King, finally showed up. Bourboy seemed to have caught Uzui's flashy fever, flexing and telling Tanjiro to leave this to him. Meanwhile, Tanjiro went to grab the wooden box for Nezuko to sleep in, while Uzui kept fighting Gutaro and protecting the townsfolk. And when Gutaro found out Uzui had 3 wives, dude tilted even harder. So he used his blood demon art to fire off bloody slashes. Uzui blew up the floor with explosives, told the civilians to scram, and stayed behind to tank Gutaro's attacks. Uzui realized they had to take both demon heads at the same time to end them, so he blasted upward with more explosives, wrecking the building. But that didn't faze the upper-rank siblings one bit. They always fought side by side. Tanjiro brought Nezuko back to her box, tucked her in, and told her to sleep tight. Even though Tanjiro's body was worn out, he was still ready to throw hands. Gutaro kept roasting Uzui, saying he was born handsome and talented, without lifting a finger. But Uzui clapped back that demons like them never understand. There are people so talented they can become Hashira in 2 months, but Uzui had to grind like crazy to get here. Gutaro still didn't buy it, especially since Uzui was poisoned by his sickles and hadn't died yet. Uzui told him he came from a ninja family, so his body was already poisoned. But Gutaro was hyped seeing Uzui slowly losing strength from the poison. And a flashy guy like Uzui ain't about to let his enemy laugh at him. So he charged in, kicking Daki clean off Gutaro. Then he tossed smoke bomb-style explosives to blind them. And in that opening, he went for Daki's head again. He linked his swords together to go for Gutaro's head but the guy blocked it, leaving Uzui salty for missing the double decapitation. Daki reattached her head, and Gutaro vowed the two of them would end Uzui right here. But just then, Borboi and Zenitsu swooped in to join the fight. Before the demons even figured out who they were, Tanjiro came bursting in, making a super flashy entrance next to Uzui. Outside, Uzui's wives were evacuating the people in the district, while one headed toward Uzui to back him up. Inside, the whole gang was finally together, ready to take down the upper-ranked duo, though Tanjiro still didn't get how they could split into 2 bodies. And Gutaro reeked so bad it made Tanjiro gag, so he guessed Gutaro was the real main body, not Daki. Even with poison in his veins, Uzui's still flexing, saying the Demon Slayer Corps will win, triggering Daki to start trash-talking him again. She's like, "Brr, you're basically dead," and still mouthing off. Tanjiro, seeing Uzui's fire, suddenly remembers Rengoku's vibe. Meanwhile, Zenitsu and Inosuke are locked and loaded, ready to throw hands with these demons. Daki whips out her silk belts to strike Uzui, but Zenitsu instantly flashes in with his thunder breathing to launch her skyward. Inosuke tells Tanjiro to stay with Uzui and finish off Gutaro, while he heads out to tag team Daki with Zen. Half asleep, Zenitsu mumbles that he'll make Daki apologize to the servant girl she pinched, "'cause you can't just throw money at people and treat them like trash." But Daki couldn't care less, classic sadist energy. Then Gutaro sends her one of his eyes. Now, they're literally sharing vision and syncing their attacks. Gutaro lunges at Tanjiro, aiming a sickle straight at his chin. But Uzui yeets Tanjiro out of the way to take the demon head. From above, Daki rains down silk strikes to cover her brother. Zenitsu and Borboi leap in to brawl with Daki, but can't even get close. Gutaro's shared senses trick makes them fight like an opt-cop team. His sickle swings look like a praying mantis slashing front and back. Uzui at once forces Tanjiro to intercept the backslashes for him. Tanjiro figures water breathing's better for defense and pushes all those sickles back. Uzui cranks up sound breathing, spinning his dual blades to drive Gutaro outside. Above, Daki keeps spamming silk belts down, but Tanjiro blocks them all. Uzui notices Tanjiro's bleeding badly and wants to help. But Gutaro's going full mosh pit in his face, so no chance. Just then, Uzui's wife Hinatsuru shows up, throwing a storm of poisoned kunai at Gutaro, but his blood demon art swats them away like flies. Uzui seizes the moment, slices Gutaro's legs clean off, and one poisoned kunai sticks in his neck, stalling his Right then, Tanjiro rushes in to team up with Uzui, aiming for Gutaro's neck. But Gutaro regrows his legs. He's already neutralized the poison. He spins up a sickle tornado on both arms. Seeing the danger, Uzui kicks Tanjiro out of the blast zone and goes full sound breathing, twirling blades against the storm. Suddenly, Gutaro vanishes and Daki's belts swoop in from behind. The demon circles behind Hinatsuru, clamping her mouth shut. Uzui tries to leap to her rescue, but Daki's belts keep cutting him off. His mind flashes back before this mission. Hinatsuru said once they take down an upper moon, they'll quit the battlefield and live happily ever after. So they all have to survive and make it home. Now, Uzoi's panicking, his wife's life's hanging by a thread. Seeing someone about to be demon food, Tanjiro steps up. Even with both legs barely holding him, he clears Daki's belts. Then he pushes past his limits, mixing water breathing with Hinokami Kaguta, slicing off Gutaro's hand. Hinatsuru's saved, and it's Tanjiro's first time successfully combining two breathing styles. Old-school swordsmen used to mix styles to suit themselves better. Back in training, Master Tsukanji taught him the same principle. So even if he's not as good with water breathing as his seniors, he'll never forget those lessons. Now, Gutaro's mad, charging to finish Tanjiro. Uzui jumps in from behind the demon, sinking strikes with Tanjiro in a pincer attack. But Gutaro's blood demon art locks both swords in place. He even bites down on Uzui's next blade. Then he spins up another sickle tornado, forcing Uzui to grab him and leap away. Meanwhile, Inosuke and Zenitsu are still trying to get close to Daki, but her belts keep snaking around. Inosuke figures, if this drags on, they'll gas out, so he's ready to tank the hit and go straight for her head. Spotting her wobbly neck, Boarboy charges, in full savage mode. Zenitsu tells him to chill, just keep her head from reattaching, no need to take both demon heads at once. So they keep pressing, looking for an opening. Eventually, Daki drives them right toward Tanjiro. Seeing how tough she is to reach, Boarboy suggests a strat swap. Tanjiro helps them here. Uzui solos Gutaro. Zenitsu says, Daki's weaker than Gutaro, so all three should focus on taking her head first. Even worried about Uzui, Tanjiro agrees beat Daki fast, then rush to save him. And when they saw Daki's sashes going after Hinatsuru, the two brothers jumped in to block for her, then told her to hide somewhere, while the three of them figured out how to take this demon's head. Tanjiro told the boar dude that Daki's neck is super soft and bendy, so there's no way they can slice it the normal way. So the three of them would have to split up and hit her from different angles. Boar dude was like bet, and volunteered to charge Daki head-on, ordering his two sidekicks, Zenitsu and Tanjiro, to cover him. So they all rushed in, with Tanjiro and Zenitsu covering the flanks for Inosuke. In the center, Inosuke kicked in beast breathing to buff himself up. Then he bolted straight for Daki, while on the left, Tanjiro unleashed water breathing with a rapid slash combo. On the right, Zenitsu went thunder breathing to block her incoming attacks. Then the two brothers pushed into the center to clear a path for the boar dude. At this point, Inosuke was so close to Daki that even she started to panic, and even though he'd already lost a lot of blood, he still dashed in and pressed his jagged twin blades to Daki's neck. He busted out, beast breathing, sixth fang, crazy cutting, sawing away like a madman, until Daki's head finally popped off. Tanjiro was hyped that his bro actually pulled it off. Inosuke told them to go back and help Uzui while he took Daki's head far away from here. Then, the boar dude happily took Daki's head on a little tour around the red light district. He was running and trash-talking, making Daki even more pissed. But just a bit later, Gutaro came out of nowhere from behind and slammed his sickle right into Inosuke's heart, snatching Daki's head back. Tanjiro turned and freaked out. Tozui had lost an arm and was already down. Zenitsu dashed in to shove Tanjiro out of Daki's next attack. Tanjiro thought it was all because he broke formation that things turned out this bad. Inside, Tanjiro kept blaming himself and apologizing to everyone. As he blacked out, Nezuko's image appeared, telling him this wasn't his fault and to stop beating himself up. Then she comforted and hyped him up so he could keep fighting. When Tanjiro came to, the whole street was on fire, but Nezuko was safe by his side, so he felt a bit relieved. Right then, Gilgamesh was standing in front of him, looked like all his teammates had already been taken down by these demon siblings. The guy looked way too happy about it and started mentally torturing Tanjiro. Tanjiro couldn't do anything, just had to eat the insults. The demon taunted that Tanjiro was too weak to protect his own sister, said he could snap Tanjiro's fingers with just a flick. Then he kept beating on him, loving every second of Tanjiro's despair. And he threw down a challenge for Tanjiro to try taking his head. Suddenly, Tanjiro had a plan. He grabbed Nezuko's box and bolted. The demon thought he was trying to run away and grinned like a psycho. He lunged in, kicking Tanjiro into the flames, but Tanjiro still grabbed the box and ran circles around him. Now, cornered Tanjiro started chucking those little incense pouches at him. The demon just walked up and booted him right in the chest. Out of nowhere, Gyutaro tried to pull an Akaza move offering to turn Tanjiro into a demon, threatening to kill Nezuko if he refused. But little sis Daki wasn't having it. She was still salty about the two brothers. Tanjiro was ready for this moment. He tilted his head back for momentum and headbutted Gyutaro with full power. At first, Gyutaro thought it was just a normal headbutt, until his head started spinning. And at his feet there was a blade stuck there the whole time. Turns out Tanjiro had been running to find this wisterio-poisoned dagger. Couldn't believe it. The dude's willpower was still that strong. Tanjiro grabbed his sword and went straight for Gyutaro's neck, but then heard Daki calling her brother's name. He hesitated. Nezuko used to call him Big Bro, just like that. But he'd promised himself he'd never fall as low as these two demons. So, Tanjiro gritted his teeth and kept going for Gyutaro's head. Meanwhile, Zenitsu had woken up, crawling out from the rubble. Thunder-breathing first form, he cranked his speed up to god-tier levels to block Daki's attacks. Then he zoomed straight at Daki with a lightning strike, trying to take her head off. Even though Zenitsu's body was way past human limits, he still teamed up with Tanjiro, going all in to decap both Upper Moon 6 siblings at the same time. Meanwhile, Gyutaro let out this massive roar, using his blood demon art to yank the dagger out of his body. He basically neutralized the poison and slipped out of Tanjiro's blade. Then he cranked up his scythe swings to spam attacks at Tanjiro, trying to finish him off. Right when his scythe was about to slice Tanjiro's eye, Uzui suddenly rejoined the battlefield to back him up. Turns out, earlier Uzui stopped his own heart, so Gyutaro thought he was dead. But no P did it to slow the poison from reaching his heart. Now he's back, ready to drop the victory beat. With sound breathing, Uzui could read every single one of Gyutaro's moves, like an open book. He kept deflecting those scythes, and charged in so hard that Gyutaro had to back off to defend. Gyutaro was mad salty seeing Uzui outplaying him, so he rushed forward again, swinging his scythes like a madman. Even with just one arm left and poison all through his system, Uzui was still going ham on him, leaving Gyutaro with 0 chances to land a kill shot. By now, their whole battlefield was straight up a blazing inferno. Shout out to the animators for blessing us with this flashy, top-tier masterpiece. Right next to them, Tanjiro was sticking close, waiting for his chance to take Gyutaro's head. When he charged in, Gyutaro's scythe grazed his chin. Even so, Tanjiro kept telling himself, "Don't give up," pushing the blade to Gyutaro's neck. Suddenly, a demon slayer mark lit up on his forehead, and his hair turned red. Gyutaro started panicking cause his head was about to roll, but he thought as long as Daki's head stayed on, he'd be fine. Too bad, Zenitsu was zipping in at lightning speed, ready to slice the obi, keeping Daki's head in place. Then our boar boy Inosuke came back to help Zenitsu. Turns out, he shifted his heart earlier to dodge that fatal stab. Now, they were going all out together to take both demons' heads. Finally, their combined effort paid off. Uzui's wives couldn't help but cheer. But it wasn't over, yet Tanjiro was slowly losing consciousness. Right before blacking out, he saw Uzui yelling at him to get up and run. Gyutaro's body exploded into a storm of flying scythes, wrecking everything around. Luckily, Nezuko busted out her blood demon art just in time to shield everyone. When Tanjiro woke up, his head was on Nezuko's lap, and the once glamorous district was now just ruins. Still, he told Nezuko, she did amazing for saving everyone. Tanjiro's legs couldn't hold him anymore, so when Zenitsu called out, Nezuko carried her brother over. Blondie had just woken up, and had no clue both his legs were broken, but the worst off was Inosuke's heartbeat was fading from the poison. While Tanjiro was freaking out, Nezuko used her blood demon art to burn the poison away. Needless to say, Tanjiro was over the moon. Over at Uzui's side, his wives were crying, thinking this time he was actually done for. Their antidote didn't work at all on demon poison. Then Nezuko strolled in and set Uzui on fire, super extra style. His wives freaked out like, "Girl, He's not even dead yet, why are you cremating him? But after that, Uzui was fine, 'cause all the poison was gone. When he asked Tanjiro, guessed Nezuko's blood demon art could burn away poison completely. But now, he needed to find those 2 demons to check their status. Tanjiro looked around, got a bit of upper moon blood, and sent it back with Tamayo's cat. Then Nezuko took him to where the siblings were. He was speechless, seeing them bickering and blaming each other non-stop. After losing, Daki, acting like a spoiled kid, called her brother ugly and useless. Gyutaro snapped back with some nasty words, but Tanjiro stepped in to stop him. He told them to quit the trash talk and just make up already. 'Cause in the end, the only ones they've got left are each other. But people will forever shun them and never forgive their crimes. Watching Daki slowly fade away, Gyutaro's mind flashed back to his past. Gyutaro was born right next to the red light district, living in extreme poverty. Because of his ugly face and ragged look, everyone there kept him at arm's length. His daily meal was basically rats and snakes. No joke. But everything changed when Daki was born, his little sis, with a face so pretty, it made everyone go, damn. Whenever she was around, he felt a little less insecure about his looks. Until one day, when Daki was 13, a shady customer messed with her, and she stabbed the guy with her hairpin. So he straight up burned her alive. Out of rage, Gyutaro saw it and screamed in pure agony. The dude even sucker punched Gyutaro right after. But Gyutaro got back up and used his sickles to end that guy's life. Then, in the dead of night, he carried his sister around, desperately searching for help. Right then, an upper moon demon named Duma passed by and gave them his blood to turn them into demons. Even though both were brought back to life, Gyutaro still felt regret. If only he'd raised and cared for Daki properly, she could have had a warm, happy life instead. His regrets dragged him straight down to hell. And there, Daki appeared to go with him. After hearing Tanjiro's words, she apologized to her brother. But Gyutaro thought he was a terrible brother and didn't want her to follow him anymore. Daki refused, ran to hug him, and said, "We promised to stick together forever, but now you're breaking that promise." That made Gyutaro remember those freezing snowy nights when they only had each other. He always believed that as long as they were together, they'd fear nothing. So he carried her on his back, walking toward the flames of hope. Outside, Gyutaro's body had completely vanished, and Nezuko believed the 2 siblings had definitely made peace with each other. Just then, the serpent Hashira Obene arrived to congratulate Uzui for taking down an upper moon. Uzui said he planned to retire after this battle was over. But of course, the serpent Hashira wasn't having Ithacors is seriously low on people. Uzui promised he'd train Tanjiro and his friends so they could take his place. News from Uzui's team reached the master, and even though he was super frail, he was overjoyed. After 100 years, this was the first time the Demon Slayer Corps had taken down an upper moon. At that moment, upper rank 3 Akaza was summoned by Muzan to the Infinity Castle, meaning he also realized an upper moon had just been defeated. And with that, Demon Slayer Season 2, Entertainment District arc came to an end. So let's dive straight into Season 3 while the hype's still hot.